Tuesday the 7th of September 2010. I guess we've all seen this in the paper. A large earthquake in Christchurch in the South Island in New Zealand. This segment of the Sexy Bachelor program is to do with survival, how to cope in a civil defence emergency, which a lot of the people in Christchurch are facing right now. Now, civil defence has been telling us in New Zealand for some 10 years or more to be ready for the big one. So, let's have a look at some things that we can do to get prepared. First of all, for some information, we can turn to the back of our Yellow Pages book, where we will find 2 pages of civil defence information. They tell you in here what to do in case of a volcanic eruption, a flood, a pandemic, a tsunami, a storm and an earthquake. I guess we could add to that a terrorist bombing, a plane falling out of the sky, who knows. Each of these scenarios has a different response. So some of the things are basic, and I guess one of the most basic things is when something happens, you can either stay in your home or you have to get out. I've just spoken to people at Civil Defence and they told me only about 2% of people in New Zealand know where their assembly point is in the case of a disaster. Your local assembly point is your local primary school. You may or may not know where it is. This is the one instance in which having children becomes useful. Civil Defence in New Zealand also put out 2 brochures. What I'm going to show you now is my own emergency food disaster kit. It isn't complete. I am in the process of reviewing it, restocking it, and rebuilding it. Anyway, so let's have a look at what I've gathered for my Sexy Bachelor disaster survival kit. Here we are, about 6 feet 2 meters from the front door. When we had the tsunami warning about 2 months ago, this kit was scattered all over the house. So I ran around for half an hour trying to find it. Obviously I realised that was pretty useless. And yes, those are Barbie dolls. I collect them and I alter them. You can see them on my website. This bag is full of processed food. I don't normally eat a lot of this kind of stuff. As a Kiwi, of course, I carry Weet-Bix. These sustain generations of New Zealanders through thick and thin. And for some reason they never seem to rot or break down, or nothing ever seems to get into them, so you kind of wonder what's in them past the snacks. 6 bottles of water, maybe enough water there for 3 days. This is a little cooking stove powered by small aerosol canisters of gas. Lighting, in here there's candles and some matches. Here's a can of Spam. This tastes terrible, but it might keep me alive for a day. Roll of toilet paper. We know what that's for. If the sewage is out, what are we going to do for toilets? What they're suggesting is doing it into a plastic bag, a garbage bag. Later on I'll show you how to make a toilet out of a plastic bucket and a garbage bag, but I won't demonstrate it. Here's some gas canisters for the little stove. A can opener. Not much point having lots of canned food if you don't have a can opener. And then canned food. Baked beans, canned fruit. There's not a lot in here, but I did buy a whole lot of stuff yesterday. No, that's it. These are just the very basics. A lot of the information will actually be on the website. It's pointless doing you know, a half an hour video and boring the shit out of everybody. So I'll post the suggested lists and the information on there. Another important thing to remember is money. In these days of plastic, the automated machines will not work if the power's down. I would suggest stash maybe $500 in cash somewhere in the house where you can grab it quickly. Same thing with all your PIN numbers. There's no point trying to access your computer from someplace else if you don't know the passwords for your internet banking or even for your email account. So it's little things like this that we take completely for granted that are going to become very apparent as major issues if and when something happens. If you watch the Sexy Bachelor show, you'll learn some tips and tricks of how to survive when it happens.